What's up, Joe Mama? Hello. Welcome to Thursday morning. Nice to see you. I hope some of our friends show up. Can't have a late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning party without friends. Actually, you can. But... Well, hello, Miss Ray Ray the Rebel. Nice of you to show up and see you. Are you as feisty as ever, Ray? I love your spirit. What's up, Food Stamp? Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. And if it comes with your attitude, drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. That one's new to me. What's a HRU? How are you? Well, no that you ask. I've been waiting for a while to get really down to it. I'm good. I'm good, Ray. Thanks. I can't believe I didn't understand that set of letters, but now I do. I think we can agree. Yeah, I feel much better for knowing that. Let's get some real headphones in. Uh-oh. Okay. Stay again. There we go. Okay. That's much better. There we go. Well, it is so nice to see all of my friends. I love getting together with you guys. It's great. What an incredible day today. Daisy, go lay down. I can hear your nails like clicking. I just had them cut too. I can hear her nails. I took her collar off. So her chain. Anyway, what an incredible day. But enough about my day. How are you? How are you? You're doing good. I see you. You guys doing all right? I see Enlightened Jess is back. We must be in her time frame. It's always great when you show up, Jess. It's North Carolina, right, Jess? Don't shoot me. Bitch, don't tell my state. Don't do that. Wow, you guys ever go into like weird kicks on YouTube? I'll get into what I want to get into tonight about the impeachment, okay? But I think it's important to like talk about the things that I like to waste my time on besides impeachment, and that's looking at really super weird, awkward things, like a top 10 list of this, a top 5 list of that, people who would dare to eat this, that, and this. And I like to watch these types. I like to watch Quentin Tarantino's top 10 movie scenes. I don't know. I dig it. But, oh, hang on. Oh, hang on. Oh, you done threw a monkey wrench into me with that, Jess. I don't know what that means. Oh, foothills of. Oh, never mind. I just got it. I just got it. Like, you ever get that moment in your life where you officially feel old? Somewhere between the start of this stream and right now, it's starting to touch ground. Oh, I clearly have to be online more or get into like chat rooms. I could do that. So let me go up and go up and revisit a couple comments because I see that you made them. And a food stamp brings up an interesting question. It's more or less rhetorical because I know him. He and I are tight. We get each other. But he says, or she, or whatever food stamp is, who thought this was going to end any differently? I mean, that's the greatest rhetorical question I've seen so far. And I've read one question. So that earns the number one spot until the next one. Might be a different category though. Enlightened Jess, today was a good day. I agree. Today was definitely a good day, Jess. She says, I hope we see vengeance in the most polite form. Would you agree, Mini-Me? Ducka, 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 ducka. Scott, come to daddy. Scott. Shh. Shh. But it, shh. I have a whole bag of shh. Vengeance would be great. I'm not sure it's great to put it that way. I like what you said after that polite form. Boy, I did a lot with your 4 emojis doing this, didn't I, Jeff? Sorry about that. All right, let's move on. Yeah, Jess, I love it. Trump won today. 100. Yes. He won. The Democrat, well, sure, I could say something about that, I guess. The Democrat Party failed terribly. I heard it put really, really well by a former congressman from South Carolina who said, out of all of the deliberations between the House and the Senate, there were 230 Republicans between those two branches of government. And they had one conversion. And y'all already know who that was. That was the rhino, Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney, everybody. And Mitt Romney, everybody clap. Come on, put your hands up. Put them together. I'm asking for you to do it. Now put them together for Mitt Romney. Mitt, come on down here. I want you to sit right here on my lap. I'll be Mitt Romney's voice, okay? This is his puppet. So Mitt, yes. What'd you think of the day? Well, I have a lot of respect for the president. You understand that? Yeah, I get it. And I want to see him do good. You get me? Yeah, I get you. So, I was just thinking that if I could just put a little bit of distance between me and the Republican Party, I could maybe potentially show the world what a sellout piece of shit I am. And the good news is, He won. What a absolute turd. But the more I watch this plan, the more this goes forward. I guess here's the fun part about knowing the early part of the plan, which I can think we can all agree we're pretty early knowing the truth about the plan. The fun part in all of this right now is we get to watch it play out. And I think it's fun to watch someone like Mitt Romney sell out. It almost makes me think they allowed him to be there because they knew that he would sell them out eventually. And if he didn't, no harm, no foul. But within the plan, they probably figured that he, you know, potentially he'll sell us out. And he did. And I think we can all agree also, we're going to all agree on a lot of stuff because I'm going to use that analogy a lot. You can already tell because I've used it 3 times. That he's exposed himself for being what he is. He's a deep state shill. He's a puppet. He has the long arm of the deep state clearly in his rectal area, and they're maneuvering all of the phrases. Yes, you're right, dude. Yes, I am right. Yeah. So who cares about Mitt Romney? Now I've already I'm old enough to realize what this afternoon told me through hearing a lot of different breakdowns and talk and analyzing from lots of different news sources and some not so much news and all of this. And I've allowed it to marinate in my head, and I've come to the conclusion that I don't know. But what sounds feasible to me, oh, give me a second. I think I lost it. That Lindsey Graham has been activated. There we go. Upon the acquittal of Donald Trump, which, by the way, is great. We already broke down and spoke about the State of the Union, but going forward, Nancy Pelosi, shredding, fruit ninja. She fruit ninja'd her speech. And you know what? They're coming apart at the seams. They are, honestly, the ship is falling apart from the pressure that is on the outside of the vessel, whether it be underwater, in space, or in a high altitude. The pressure is invading the cabin, and there's infighting, and the pressure and the stress is really exposing them. So I was getting to the point, I guess, where I was saying that this is fun for me to witness, and probably you. It's nerve-wracking. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Before they voted on the first article of impeachment today, I thought for myself, just for a half a second, I just allowed myself this guilty pleasure to say, what if 67 of these MFers are in some sort of, like, we can get him out of here, like, right now. He's right here. He's on the doorstep. I know you've been a political guy. I know you've been a yes man, but think about it. We can get rid of him right now if 20 of you will join us. How many? You just tell us how many zeros have to be in the check. Do not think. Maybe that direct conversation didn't happen, but you know what? That conversation kind of happened. Like, what's it going to take? The Democrats have never been so disappointed in their lives than they were today. And I didn't think it was possible after watching them after the State of the Union last night. I heard the after comments by the Republicans delivered by Kevin McCarthy, who is the House Minority Leader for the Republicans. who come November is going to make a phenomenal House Majority Speaker. He is going to be fantastic if you don't know who he is. He is fantastic, actually. He's great. I'd actually put him, providing he does really, really great in the next 4 years, I'd put him into the hunt for the 2024. There's going to be this batch of very able patriots that are hungry to pick up the mantle from where Trump goes. I'm telling you right now, I'm announcing my candidacy for 2024. I think I can compete. Or just do videos. That'd be better. But these guys they've shown their loyalty. These individuals have shown their loyalty to America. Forget their loyalty to Trump. Trump is great in his own regard. He is great. I'm not taking anything from the man, but there is a level of getting away from that type of worship of Trump. And I know that you guys are probably going, yeah, Bill, right, you worship Trump. Listen, I respect him for what he's done. I told you I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan. He was going, you're fired, and you're fired, and you're fired. In fact, I had to learn how to do that after he became president, because all I knew is he said something like, you're fired. I didn't realize it was a thing. That he had this amazing show on. I mean, I knew him as Donald Trump, the billionaire. So what I loved about him is his words became real. And the exposure of that speech that I always play, you guys, our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment designed to only enrich itself at the expense of you, the American people. That speech. He put it out there. And you know what? By God, he's delivered, and then a shit ton more. He's a great president. He is a great president. Look at what he is doing for us. Look at it. I feel like Grandpa Joe and William the Walk. Look at me. I haven't walked for 800 years. But look at him. Look at what he's done. This dude ain't joking around. And I never thought he was. But if I take a moment of levity and just kind of laugh about it, allow me that, because look at me. I'm running a country. I've only ever run businesses and done things like that. Casinos, pretty good sometimes. Casinos, sometimes. Anyway, I'm a pretty good president. No, sir. You are one of the very best presidents. There's just no denying what we're witnessing, you guys. The left doesn't want to allow you to take a victory lap. They'll dampen every bit of it, but make no mistake. Take your victory lap. Your president was acquitted. We spoke about it last night. If the impeachment doesn't fit, you must acquit. Thank you, OJ. You must acquit. All jokes aside, acquitted without any type of crime. And maybe the wrong analogy to joke about, because one of these two scenarios, somebody was very guilty. So, in hindsight, I wish I had a rewind button, but I don't. So, anyway, the fact is he was acquitted because there was a lack of evidence. And that's just how nice it'll read on the picture or on the pages of history. They won't ever be able to capture the circus and bullshit that we watched between the entire I guess we will. I mean, everything's documented on video, but still, living through it and understanding the level of what they pulled on a day-to-day basis. I mean, you certainly are living through it versus learning about it. And so for some people, it's mind-boggling that other people can't wake up to it. That's okay. I've got into that point the other night. I spoke about it. It's about all I have to say about that. I'm not going to say much more about that. You know, everybody's drawing their lines. I mean, it's coming forward. The truth is coming out. We're past the impeachment. What happens here? Do the Democrats come at him harder? Save that thought. Let me read the chat. I'll go up a little bit. And I'll revisit that question in a second. I promise. Will the Democrats go harder? Okay. Let me just leave that out there. I'm mainly saying it out loud so that maybe one of you will remember once I go back to say, what was I talking about? And one of you will say that. So put it in the ether. All right. Mel Monte says, see, Pelosi pre-ripped a small tear in the speech. It was pre-planned. LOL. I saw it. Not live while I was watching it, but I definitely saw it in the reruns, the replays. She tore. I didn't catch it at the time, but she certainly did. So it probably was pre-planned. Definitely. To be honest, she looked like she wanted to rip that speech up from the moment she opened it. But I kind of stand by with no real credibility for any of this being true, but I believe there was probably a little note in there, just like the invitations at the funeral for George Bush. I think there was some sort of personalized note from the president to her. And I think whatever was on there, this is pure speculation, by the way. Do not tell anybody this and say, you know what I heard? Please don't do that, because this is me purely speculating. But if it comes out to be true, I wouldn't be surprised, is all I'm saying. But if she got a note that basically said something like, guess what? You're indicted in 27 days. Believe me? Question mark Q. Just something, just like you won't be the speaker after July 4th, 2020. What do you think about that? And just put that in the ether, like up in her psyche. I think whatever they potentially wrote on that note that went up before her was meant to kind of like do a final trigger. Like if she thought about maintaining her composure the best of her ability through this speech, I think it was just something that was meant to goad her. The reason I say it, guys, is I think I saw a small something when she opened it. You guys remember, like at the funeral, when one of them opened it and it flew out and it fell on the ground? They were sitting right next to Jimmy Carter. And Jimmy Carter, at 98 years old, went like this. And he's seen it fall. And he was like, what was that? I mean, he got inquisitive, that old peanut farmer. He got inquisitive and he looked because he saw something drop out of that envelope and he didn't have something drop out of his envelope. So he like looked and he saw it hit the ground and he started like picking up his envelope, dissecting it and opening the envelope itself. And he was like, where's my note? Well, guess what? You're probably glad you didn't get that note, Jimmy. Jimmy didn't get the note, but everybody else did, or at least one of the family members did. And I think potentially Pelosi got that note, and that was to trigger her to go balls out. Like, this is it, do or die. She probably did plan on ripping the articles up. Maybe she didn't plan on it, but maybe she thought of it like this is the final straw. He just brought up DACA recipients, like I know I threatened people that I would rip the speech up, but I could really do it. And so she, I don't necessarily think she went into it like I'm ripping that speech up. She validated it. She went through it. She read it. I heard it put by Kennedy on Fox. It was so spot on. I can never quite figure out how to explain how she would pick up the thing and it was all animated and looking at it. She said she looked like she was picking up the menu at an Olive Garden. That's sometimes how she looked at these pages, and that's really what she's been doing over the last 3 State of the Unions. She's oblivious. She doesn't understand how completely, what's the word I want to use here? Stale. That's the wrong word, though. Bad form. She comes out and does the entire State of the Union and exercises extremely horrible, bad form, especially for what the position. She's the number 3 in the presidency of the United States. Somebody drops a freaking nuke on the State of the Union and Trump somehow gets killed and Pence gets killed. That's your president. Nancy Pelosi's your president. That should give you nightmares. Oh my God. You know what? I don't even think there's a scarier situation than that. Maxine Waters, Chuck Schumer, President Nadler, President Schiff. They ain't mess with that. We ain't doing it. It's not happening. All right. So what was the phrase that I said that I was going to come back to? Because I know I put it out there. And if you don't remember, I ain't mad because I don't either. I'll tell you, it was a good day with the impeachment. That man was vindicated. Therefore, as a byproduct, we are vindicated. And I'll take a byproduct vindication to feel good about myself. The wins are going to continue. Now listen, if you've been a hardcore supporter, if you've been involved in learning the truth and being a truther and doing your bit as you can, because we only all can do what we can personally do, right? So if you dip your toe into the truth movement and you've exercised that to teach yourself something, it's a lot. It's a lot because it's you craving knowledge. It's not being shoved in front of your face. It's not being crammed down your throat. You watch any truth show, including this one, it's because you are honestly looking for truth. You're looking for knowledge. You're looking for people that have ideas and takes, and I do too. I look for people like that make sense. They let logic come in, I wasn't always that way. Not by a long shot. It's pretty emotional a lot of my life. Kind of let emotion rule my life a lot. Tempered emotion. But yet more emotion than fact. I was a victim of the socialist Democrats. I think. I just don't, if you can believe this, I wasn't an outspoken anything before. I was just kind of that, dad that just, yeah, like having fun when we all get together. I think it's fun. We have a good time. Completely asleep. Part of the reason I think that I feel differently now is my kids are grown. It's difficult having, I don't know if I could have had this position as they were growing up, or maybe I would have did it from like a cellar or, a cafe or something. I don't need to. And for that, I'm grateful. But I'm also grateful for the fact that what I'm saying is not, it's not like this crazy left field idea. It's what me and now literally millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, and maybe in the billions, including all of you, understand. And that is that the Great Awakening and the plan to rescue and save the world through Q, to the recruiting of Donald Trump to become the president, I know it sounds nuts, is very real. The reason we know it's real, it only sounds weird to say. Mathematically and statistically, it's not possible it could be any other thing than what it is right now. So what does that tell you? Take all your logic and take, you know what? Some of you on the left that are educated like the right, where you're into quantum physics and quantum mechanics and all that, you know what? Put all the fucking truth, sorry for the swear, put all the truths into your little hopper of a brain or computer, let it all compute, and tell me how you can't come to the same conclusion. Because when you follow facts, you get to the truth. And though I would venture to say all of us, but most of us, know what the truth is, it was delivered in the form of a very jagged pill today. And it don't matter if you're a Republican, a Democrat, or anybody else. You got a big spoonful of acquitted president that you must chew on, and you got to swallow every last bite. But you, not my president kind of people, aren't going to accept it. And you know what? This is the great part of the Great Awakening. We already know. The best point of this is that we're over it. We have the majority. We're over it. We're over your temper tantrums. We're over anything you have to say. Any kind of weird can spin us down into a different road and talk about weapons running and all this shit. Listen, this whole thing with President Trump and Q and the plan to save the world doesn't involve all this weird sidebar type stories. Like, I'm a lieutenant colonel in the United States Navy and I blah, blah, blah. Listen, there is not a bigger story on this planet right now that anybody that happens to be within the military, there's not a bigger story on the entire planet of this universe that is bigger than what we're witnessing with President Trump and the constant attacks over the past 3+ years. There is not a bigger story. So how do you know that they are leftist hacks? Or how do you know they're just evil people? They don't report the truth. They don't give it to you. Thank God for social media. Thank God for what we have. It's honestly the last free bastion in the world of free speech, at least on a computer level. I mean, but that's a big voice. Your computer voice is way bigger. and this sounds like a bad campaign. Your computer voice is way bigger than your real voice will ever be. Well, I don't mean that. I want your real voice. I want my real voice to be bigger than my computer voice would ever be. I'd love that. But the reality is that you start off using the computer with a big microphone. So it just comes down to what you have to say or what you have to type. And it takes a little longer, in the real world, because you got to earn like credibility through like getting to like know you and like bonding. You know what I mean? I was trying to do that like I was a Democrat or a California Democrat. I hope I didn't lose my sound. Oh, I didn't. Well, nice to see you, James Rohrbach. James can't post for some reason. Are one of you mods blocking him for fun? Is he blocked? I didn't block you. Oh, he can't comment. He can't comment. And one of you guys make sure you don't have him like in timeout. I mean, James, you should never be in timeout. But I'm not saying there's not times that you should get a timeout. I just haven't witnessed them. But I know they're in you. Because I get you, dude. So there'll come a time where you need one, but I don't know. I don't know why you honestly can't comment. All right. Just only 37 minutes. Oh God, I feel like I spoke a lot. A lot. I guess we'll see if there's any new Q drops quick. My headphone is starting to make a weird comment where it's it's weird. Lots of Q drops, by the way. I mean, I used to be like really super, and this is gonna sound bad, super into them. Like I can't wait. You know what I like to think? I like to think that if I'm not that way anymore, I've progressed into the comfort of knowing what the truth is, and that instead of seeking out the Q drops, I will simply check it like you would in email to say, is there any new news? My point is that there's no worries. I'm not saying don't be cautious. I mean, if you're understanding what's been shown, most of the things that are being dropped, honestly, within the Q drops right now, are for new eyes that are awakening. That's why it's picking up and it's reiterating the narrative. It's pointing in the direction because people that are directly looking for information now, as they wake up, can't go back to post 1. They can't go back to post 50 or 1200. They'd look at this and say, this is a big mess of scrambled eggs. How the hell could I ever understand what any of this means? No. For some of us, there will be the experience of living through it, understanding it, and knowing it. And that is something that no book or movie will ever recapture, is living through it. If you understand Q, and it really doesn't matter how long you've been on, but let me just preface that by saying that, I mean, if you've been following Q for at least like a year, and I know Q's been on for like, over 2 years and stuff, but really, if you've kind of grasped on and stuff, or maybe even there just hasn't been a lot in the last 6 months. So I'm just, if you have, you're kind of living through this reality that one day will be written about in history books. They will talk about how people started to wake up. It will probably be minimalized as to what it's really been like, because In a lot of ways, it's been great. And in other ways, it's been a challenge. There's hardcore truths that you have to start to process and take in and understand. You have to bring that inside of you and deal with that. When this is done, the actual things that have been done to people and children, any of this. One of the Q drops said, to sum up the point I was about to make, is that they were talking about a tape on Anthony Weiner's laptop that was confiscated. And somewhere within that archive that was labeled life insurance was a treasure trove of really, really bad stuff that were done by many people. But also the woman that ran against Trump in the 2016 election, her and her former presidential husband. There was a lot. Q said, those that know the truth can't sleep. It's probably more of a metaphor, I guess, right? I mean, obviously they can sleep, but look at the bigger picture of that statement. Because look at the gravity of what they're talking about. We're talking about probably pretty young kids, and we're talking about videos, and we're talking about some pretty potentially super, super dark, evil, twisted shit. It's probably on this video that was labeled life insurance by the former Congressman Anthony Weiner, whose wife, Uma Abedin, was a personal assistant to Hillary Clinton. You can't make this up. It's a circle of not life, but it's a circle of deception. I guess every, whether life or deception or just generalness, you have a circle of life of people you deal with. It's kind of funny if you think about it. I never thought about it that way, but yeah, most of us probably deal with the same people we do most of the time in a year. But anyway, the circle of the people that they deal with. All right. I think I just took myself out of my thought. Not even joking. What's nice, I might come on tonight. If they impeach the president, I might come on tonight. I might talk about it. I said I might not. But what I did ask you to do was I said, keep your eyes open. Keep your wits about you with what you're witnessing. You know? You guys got a great mind. All of you do. And any of you that watch this in the future and get it, I mean, you have a great analytical mind. There's a reason you're all awake right now. Well, you can look at CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC. You can look at all of those channels. And it's not that you don't understand that they're bad channels and they're giving the wrong information. But what you're really asking yourself is, who the hell is watching this? And what do they believe? That frightens me because those people exist. Yes, they're getting their ass spanked on the ratings. Yes, Fox News is dominating. Why? I think because Fox News has really been held in check and forced to push. It's like the people from the Q movement that follow President Trump. looked at Fox News and said, "You're not going to take this president in a direction that you want to. We hired him based on what he said he'd do. And we expect you to hold him accountable the same way we want to hold him accountable." Every one of us that voted for Donald Trump voted to hold that man accountable. So don't just get wrapped up saying, "Oh, you just vote for Trump because he's pro-America." No, we voted for him to hold that man accountable. And he knew that. And he was counting on that. He wanted to be held accountable. Why? So he could come out right now in the middle of an impeachment finale and say, "I did this, 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 and all of this." Now, here's the book of stuff that I did in addition to all of this. They can't touch this. They can't do anything except impeach him. That's it, or kill him. Now, because I said that, I don't like saying that. I think somehow it puts it in the ether, but I want you to know, and not because there's no self-grandiosing here, grandizing, none. But I pray for the president every night. And I pray for myself and my family. I do. But I pray that I've never prayed for a president before. Not because I'm an asshole. I just never thought to. What he's doing is very special. It's amazing what he's actually doing, and what he's done is amazing. Have I ever met God? Not yet. But I believe in God. And I say that with no shame. And I believe in Jesus Christ. And I say that with no shame. And I don't push that down people's throats. It's my own personal belief. But I think it's a great belief. I think it's a fantastic belief. I think everything about that story or recollection of what's in the Bible is quite beautiful. And I think it's great. So I pray that if there's a creator up there, I actually pray a little more bold than that. I know there's a creator up there, just so you know. I'm at least convinced myself. I'm quite aware that there's something very awesome up there, and we'll call it God. But I pray to that this man and his intentions stay true. That his words, that fire arrows, draw true. And that they would find their mark and they would land. They would sting the enemy. They would push the enemy back. And I feel like he has that kind of favor in his life because he's pretty dang good. He's better than good. He's fantastic. But with this entire reclamation of the United States back to where it belongs, which is in the hands of you, the people, us, the people of the United States. That's where the governing needs to be done from, is us putting people into certain positions. There needs to be a reformation within government. term limits, all of this. If we want our country back, we have to take it back. President Trump will eventually give it back to us. But if you think for a second that he's hoping that he's not working with winners, what does he want? Winning, winning, winning. So when he takes winning and puts it on a big T at the golf club for everybody to smack it up, and when he puts winning out there, what does he want you to do? Run out there and grab it. And I don't care if that means putting your voice into Trump. What he's saying is that we're winning. It's time you claim it. However you choose to celebrate that and claim it, it's time for you to claim it. Claim you're winning, because we are winning. The deep state is dying right in front of us. And wait until Trump wins this 2020 election. You wait. As has been stated in the last few Q drops from time to time, and President Trump, and they do drop at the same time within 1 minute of each other. Over like 38 different times they've given drops. Not Q dropping after the president, Q dropping and the president dropping within 60 seconds of the Q drop. Over like 38 times in the last 2 years. And both connect to each other. What we are witnessing is many beautiful things, but what we are truly witnessing is the changing of the old guard. The systematic destruction of the old guard is what we're watching. And if you understood what I just said, that's good. That means it's good. They are rooting out the corruption. Rooting it out. Gone. It's amazing. It's amazing what we have gone through the last 3 years. Listen, Trump's not the only one that went through the Mueller investigation. We all did too, in some way. I mean, every bit of his presidency has taken a little piece of all of us. And it's nothing I'm complaining about. I'm not. But to be awake, to follow the plan, means that you're living it. You're living it. You're trying to understand on a daily basis. You are trying to get to the truths, especially if you feel like we're like into some like really stupid, dumb ass shit that are like people are showing up dead, fighting like endless wars. So when you get something like a Trump, you do start living it. You say, I'm holding you accountable. I would say that mega people, Trump followers, hold him to the highest standard. Does that mean we wouldn't give him a pass, a slide, if like he didn't get something done? Yes, of course. But the very reason that his base of mega people, and it crosses racial boundaries. And I look forward to the day when we don't have to even say it like that. We just say it's it's Americans. But they have to. They have to differentiate themselves from the Republic or from the Democrats. They have to. They have to differentiate themselves from them and say, we're just going to do awesome stuff for everybody in America. And guess what? As a byproduct of that, African American, Spanish American, Asian American, and women unemployment is at an all-time low. Is that great or what? It's fantastic. It is fantastic. He's won so much. I'm not tired of winning. He said that we'd be tired of winning. You're going to win so much. You're going to be tired of winning. You're going to beg me, Mr. President, please, please stop. I can't take any more winning. And I'm going to say, too bad. You're going to continue to win, win, win. Okay? You're going to win. You're going to win. Well, can't argue with that. That's good logic. Sounds like we're going to win with very small margins of error to be away from winning. So have a deposition on my desk by 4. All right, I'm being goofy. I know. Silly friggin' Billy. Anyway, it's so nice you guys show up. You guys know this is the wrap up. You always know when I go this route. You're like, good night, guys. See you later. Bye-bye. See ya. See, I read the chat when I'm done. I know it. That's what's coming right now. But I want to leave you with this. I love you guys. In the most respectful type of like researcher, looking for the truth kind of way. I think you're all phenomenal. I do. And not just you. So many of the other channels that are seeking the truth. I see lots of names in different channels. I read what they say. I don't interact with everybody in some channels. Sometimes I just sit and lurk. Sometimes I listen. Sometimes I'll say, hey, what's up? And watch. And you know what I know? There's a lot of awake people in the world. There are a lot of awake people. And there's way more awake people in America than there are asleep. They only interview people in the big, humongous cities that are worried about how they're going to come up with the $1,700 to fund their 2-bedroom apartment in Chicago, or $5,000 2-bedroom apartment, or just a loft in New York, or how they're going to be able to get an Uber close enough to their apartment where they don't have to step over human feces in order to go to a job in the Silicon Valley where they have to pay like $8,000 a month. How are they going to do that? I don't know. Anyway, you guys are great. It's 58 minutes. It's just short of an hour. So I'm going to sayonara. I got a big day tomorrow. Oh, here's what you guys don't know. Tomorrow's my anniversary. So I have a big day tomorrow. Technically, it's my anniversary right now. And yes, we did celebrate it at midnight. Okay. So that was cool. But Bill has to get some sleep. Bill has a big day. I'm a maniac on the floor, and I'm dancing like I've been before. Wooka, 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 wooka. Bye.